G'day, Steve here, Woodworking Masterclass. Getting a bit of planing practice in. Do you know, one of the most frequently asked questions I get, apart from how's Bob, is where do I get my timber from? Well, a lot of it I've sourced over the years from lumber yards or yard sales, but a lot of it also I go and collect myself. So I thought I'd give you the opportunity to come along for a short period on one of our timber getting exploits. I'm fortunate to have some mates that share the same interests as me. There's tool makers amongst them, furniture makers and wood turners. And recently we've been out western New South Wales in Australia looking for what is called Bowyakka. It's a lovely timber with beautiful colour. As you can see, it's not something you can get from the local hardware shop. So please hop in the back of Theo's four-wheel drive and come with me when we go and source some Bowyakka. Well, I don't know if we'll bring any timber back.
We've got projectiles.
We've got so much stuff in the can, in the car.
Oh, well.
Everybody's happy, except Bob. What do you reckon, Bob? No, Bob's not even going to look at the camera because he is ticked off he's not coming. He wants to blow cows over and bury them. Oh, dead dog. Yeah. How well is that put together? Oh, well. Okay, this is take two.
And every job needs a supervisor.
We're going out west, and you might wonder why Theo packed a lathe. Well, the reason is we thought we had a KVA generator coming out, but now we're not. Damo, nice one. Theo's got unpack everything now. Hey, guess where the lathe is? Yeah. That's it. It's on the bottom. But the good thing is, now we've got enough stuff that it doesn't have to be packed in nice and neatly. Well, it's going to be a tight squeeze, but I think we can fit you all in. So hop on board and let's get going. Finally.
We're on a mission.
God.
Yeah.
God. Know that, you know, when you're cutting with the Dremel, depending on which way the grain goes, you can run along the grain, or, you know, you've got to work against it. And so we can do
This thing, if we do 1 more kilometre over the speed limit, it actually pulls you up.
Even on cruise control?
Yeah, on cruise control.
They should talk to each other.
that are rigged up so that if a person, like restaurants, right, they're so smart what they can do depending on what time of the day it is. If people are searching for a position he got into, when he pulled the trigger, the bullet actually went through the windscreen.
This is the most spectacular fence I've ever seen. Oh, I would love to have that figure timber.
Oh, it's just so funny. Some of the things you see is absolutely frightening.
Finally, we get to where we're going, so it's time for a quick look around to see if there's anything worthy of salvage or our time and effort to go and collect. It's interesting looking at the trees because you can learn so much about the timber. You know, if it's going to twist, if it's bowed, if it's bent, if it's got any figure to it. Anyway, good night's rest and we're off again in the morning. We've heard about a stand of trees that was blown over about 2 months ago in a huge storm that came through. And much to our delight, it's Bowyakka. And of course we have the ubiquitous breakdown along the way. Nothing too serious, just overheated radiator. But we're back on the road again. The wildlife out here is phenomenal, and the birds and the parrots, oh, it's absolute delight. Getting away from the city and enjoying the blue skies and the sounds of nature. Whoops! Looks like we've hit civilization. There's a mailbox. Bit of dust in your eyes, a bit of dust in your throat. But that's the price you pay for following a vehicle. You can see the remnants of a flood that came through here with trees banged up against the side wall near the causeway. And we got permission from the cocky that owns the property, and we're now on it, and we're heading down to the northern dam to where these trees are being blown down. Good idea to have four-wheel drive in these conditions. And as you can tell, there's the tree that's been snapped by the wind.
This is actually quite dark. It's this is quite dark for Bowyakka. The last lots have been more.
And that's the telltale signs of fiddleback, and that's what we're looking for. This tree fell down near the dam, and she's a bit bent and twisted, but we'll see what we can reclaim. Terry's in for the first bit. And we'll check the colour and see how good it is.
Where are they supposed to go?
Theo's eager to get a start. Look out for your toes. Beautiful colour. But before we can really see how good it is, we've got to split that log open. Chainsaws get one heck of a workout out here. Now's almost the moment of truth. Looks pretty good. They are Australian Coca-Cola. Beautiful colour. A little bit of degradation in there, but not too much. Let's clean these ends off. What we do is we cut it like a loaf of bread. That way we've got three sides. And when we get back to our respective workshops, much easier to break it down on the bandsaw. But before it gets there, it has to get sealed and wrapped. Terry's putting a coat of paint on. This seals the ends and allows it to dry very slowly instead of splitting and cracking, and then we're wrapped in big industrial rolls of glad wrap. For me, this is the hardest part of doing a timber trip. When you've done a few ton, your shoulders ache. Terry's off to get some more. He reckons there's some good timber in this up here. Good idea, Terry. Go the other side. Working out which way it's going to fall. Good man. IMUF's doing a good job as well. I pop in for a cameo appearance. Decided to bring a camera instead of a chainsaw this trip, but these logs are heavy. Again, looks good on the outside. Let's check the inside.
I just want to see what colours it in first, see whether it's worth it.
Okay.
That's got good colour. Big grunt from Theo.
That's plain maker material, that one.
Yeah. I'll put this one in the bubble.
And as you can tell, we were there for about a day and we pulled a lot of timber out of that, and yet you wouldn't know we'd actually been there, except for the straight saw cuts. And that's salvage timber. Going to be turned into planes and chisels and bowls and platters and boxes, all in a day's work. And tomorrow it starts again. The only difference being we're a little more tired and a little more stiff than we were this morning when we started out. Well, I hope you enjoyed that trip. It was a beauty. The only thing is when you come back, you've got even more work ahead of you, milling it, drying it, stacking it, sorting it. Then you've got to wait a couple of years before you can use it. Especially I do, because I air dry mine, and I know a few of the other guys, they kiln dry. But here's some of that timber that was cut on the video you just saw. Here's a bit more here that I've started to use. And this plane that many of you have seen me use recently is also made of Bowyakka. And following on from this trip, I'm putting together a documentary from bush to bench, and we follow what happened on the trip that we were cutting, and that video you saw was actually where we got the timber for this plane. And then Terry's been gracious enough to let me into the HNT Gordon in a sanctum and watch him actually go through, not the entire process, we've got to keep some secrets, but most of the process of making this plane. So this is Steve pulling the shed door down, hoping you've got a better appreciation of where the wood comes from, and saying, remember to keep it sharp, but more importantly, keep it safe, and I look forward to having you with me at the bench soon. Bye for now.